Nikola Jokic is one of the most offensively talented centers in basketball history. He's a 7-footer who can pummel opponents inside or score with finesse using pirouettes, spins, and pump fakes. From mid-range, he has an unblockable jump shot and he makes nearly 40% of his three-pointers. There's not a more cerebral and creative playmaker in the NBA. He sees plays unfold before they do. He uses manipulation to move defenders with his mind. Jokic is a god of passing, but defense was a knock on him ever since he was growing up in Serbia. Times have changed though. After winning MVP in 2021, Jokic is in the best shape of his life and he's playing the best defense he ever has. Jokic has been a bruiser for some time now. Like on this play, the Nuggets trapped Tyler Hero, and now Jokic will need to rotate back to Bam Adebayo on the roll. At this point, you'd think Bam is scoring, but Jokic bumps and then uses his length to swat him away. Jokic has gotten trimmer, but he hasn't lost his strength, and he now moves fluidly defending pick and rolls in the same way he can dance on post-ups. Jokic today can really move his feet, even quickly enough to stick with explosive guards like Zach LaVine. He's a positional rim protector who doesn't block a ton of shots, but he's improved his agility enough to stay in front of opponents and bother them using his length. In the past, Jokic wasn't agile and he often grew fatigued. He felt at times like a defensive liability. But the rapid processing that helps fuel Jokic's offense now translates to defense. He knows what the opponent is going to do even before they do it, and he has the quick hands to knock away the ball without fouling. Year-to-year progress has led to Jokic today. He's always had elite coordination, and now he's in the best condition of his life. That, combined with his years of experience and knowledge, has made Jokic into a highly productive defender for the Nuggets. Jokic is matching his offensive productivity from his 2021 MVP campaign, and it's made more impressive since he's doing it without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Jokic keeps the Nuggets alive with his offense and his defense, and NBA MVP got better. Jokic is another active player who's on a path to an all-time great status. Today in The Void, let's talk about Jokic. A straw poll for the MVP votes for 101 NBA media members was recently published by ESPN, and the top 5 was unsurprising, especially Steph having 94 votes to win MVP. The order is kind of interesting, though, because KD has James Harden on his team, so I was a little surprised to see him second, especially so far ahead of Giannis. And Jokic was 4th behind KD and Giannis, who both of them, of course, had better teams that they're leading right now. And stuff like this, of course, makes people go absolutely wild on Twitter. Even my friend Ben Taylor, who you might know from his Thinking Basketball YouTube channel, he had a tweet about it. He said, Jokic finishing a distant 4th in MVP would be one of the most ridiculous results in the history of the award. If you know Ben, I don't think he meant it in that tone of voice, but that's how I read it in my head. So to discuss this thought and analyze Jokic's game, here's part of my conversation with Ben.
There are no historic seasons in NBA history that have low MVP vote share. Even all of the seasons where people say, oh, Jordan scored 37 a game, or Kobe had this 2006 season, or Bernard King's run. Like, it doesn't matter what you throw up there. They all have high MVP shares. They might not win the award, but they come second or third with 50 or 60% of the vote share, something like that. So in the straw man, Jokic was in the 20s. He was like 24% of the vote share. That's just historically unprecedented. So now the question becomes, do you not think it's an historic season? He has the highest scoring rate in the league, over 30 points per 75 possessions. He's 11 percentage points ahead of true shooting, league average true shooting. You're basically talking about a season that's almost rivaling Steph Curry's 2016 season. Like, no one has that efficiency. He's the best post scorer in the game. He's Dirk Nowitzki from the mid-range. He's 39% from 3. And that's not even his best skill. It's passing.
Did you see his touch pass to Aaron Gordon over the weekend?
Yeah.
We've seen him do it 100 times, but it never gets old.
He is an historic offensive player. He's one of the best offensive players ever. He's having one of the best offensive seasons ever. And he doesn't require, he doesn't take up all the oxygen in the room. He doesn't need to have the ball and pound it and have everyone else stand in the corner. It's this constant dotting and moving and going to the middle of the floor and facilitating and setting everyone else up. And it's infectious, right? Like, he made that touch pass to Aaron Gordon. Did you see Aaron Gordon's behind the back?
Oh, yeah.
No, what's going on? He's the Jokic dust is rubbing. It's like Larry Bird with the 86 Celtics.
With Jokic, the big stat you mentioned there, Ben, he logs 99.9 touches per game, according to NBA.com. The time of possession, though, is only 4.1 minutes. Just to put that in comparison, Harden, 92 touches, 9 minutes of possession. Luka, 90 touches, 9.4 minutes of possession time. LeBron, 90 touches, 6.6 minutes of possession. Jokic doesn't touch the ball for very long when he does, because he makes these rapid decisions on the floor that keep the ball moving, keep constant motion around him. And that's why Denver is so lethal in the half court, because of him.
We talked about Curry and his motion. With Jokic, it's a little different. He's literally a centerpiece. He literally is moving to the middle part of the floor constantly, touching the ball, making a decision. And the entire offense is built around this, but it still allows other guys to do stuff. So he comes in when he has the ball. If there's an opening, he hits it with the pass. But this is what I love about him, Kevin. If there's an opening, he also attacks it with his body. So you can't switch certain pick and rolls with him because he'll just immediately take you into the post. On the flip side, if he's setting the screen and there's no switch, he can pop or float to an area where now he's a 39% wide open catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Oh, and if you try to over rotate off that, then he's taking that advantage that you gained and whipping it for something better, possibly manipulating the defense for these really high leverage layup passes. You add that to the statistical profile right now, you mentioned it, he has the highest on-off in NBA history, right? His team is 30 points better per 100 when he's on the floor. Unlikely that holds, but it's just a bulletproof argument for an historical level season, which I truly think it is. And it would just be unprecedented for him to be a distant fourth. I don't think you can say that about the other guys, frankly. And I think it's hard for people to kind of process this, Kevin, because of the way he looks and his history.
The way he looks? Are you judging chubby white men like me?
I'm saying he's got can we go back to Larry Bird? Like he's got a look that throws people. And I think it's hard for people to wrap their head around that, like, he's somewhere between a pretty good and good defender at this point. Like he's actually playing clearly positive defense on a nightly basis. They've put a system in around him that supports his props up his weaknesses, supports his strength. He's great at reading the floor. He's got incredibly accurate fast hands. You alluded to it earlier. He's a phenomenal defensive rebounder because as he's gotten in better condition and as he's lost weight, he's still a bear, man. He's still a bruiser. He bangs with you down there. So those hands, which I said are accurate and fast, they're also really soft, and he's got really long arms. He's vacuuming in rebounds at the end of possessions. Like the entire body of work for a regular season player, I don't see how to attack it. I truly think we're seeing one of the great seasons, one of the pantheon seasons, if we could borrow a Bill term, right? Like this is up there.
For the Nuggets to make the most of this all-time season, Jokic needs additional help. And I hope Jamal Murray can get back healthy when he's due back in February or later, because he could help the team a lot when Jokic is on the bench, staggering those two. And maybe the Nuggets will be able to pull off a surprise move to help their team title odds, because having an MVP means you got to do everything possible to win it all. And this team has been really close in recent years. And now Jokic is better than ever. Thank you for watching The Void. I really, really loved my conversation with Ben Taylor. It means a lot if you give it a listen. The link to that is in the description below. And while you're there, please give it a like and subscribe to The Ringer on YouTube. Thank you again. I hope you have a fun day.